So if you've been to the channel before, you know that in this cabinet behind me, I have 40 different bottles of Creed. Today I'm going to give you my top 10 Creed fragrances, and I'm prepared to start a little bit of controversy. I didn't include Aventus. Today I'm going to give you my 2 cents on my top 10 Creed fragrances. Let's get going. All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is my 2 cents. My name is Sean. If you've already been here, welcome back. If you're a new viewer, then welcome. Before we get started, I do want to say real quickly, if you're not already subscribed, please hit the subscribe button for all my important things that I have to say. The algorithm really appreciates it, and so do I. All right, let's get started. So, as you know, I have been a fan of Creed for a very long period of time. I've tried to include them on lists whenever I've had the opportunity. Creed, as a matter of fact, is what got me involved in all this in the first place. I think this is going to be sort of a different top 10 list for Creed because I do have so much experience with the brand. I've gotten most of my fragrances at their boutique stores in London, but I've picked them up around the world. And I think this is going to be different than lists that you've already seen because a lot of the fragrances that people put on the top 10 Creed list do not make an appearance on this list. So why don't we get started and see what I selected. All right, so the first fragrance that I have on this list, number 10 in my Creed lineup, is a fragrance that was the one that got me involved in this in the first place. It was given to me as a gift by a woman who I used to know in Connecticut for watching her house one weekend when she was away on vacation. The fragrance is number 10, Virgin Island Water. This is my second bottle of Virgin Island Water. I wear it all the time in the summer. I wear it all the time when I'm going to the Caribbean or if I'm going to the beach. This is basically a beach in a bottle, but it is done with such sophistication and such refinement that it smells luxury. So what you basically got here is the beach in a bottle. At the top, you've got lime, you've got bergamot, you've got mandarin, you've got some musk in the middle. At the base, you've got white rum, you've got sugarcane, you've got musk. This is a sophisticated beachy scent. You can smell basically everything that you want to smell on the beach here. I don't know how they did it, but you can actually smell a little bit of tanning lotion. There's a light coconut here that sort of reminds me of tanning lotion. You've got the lime or whatever it is that's sitting on the drink. You've got a white rum note in here. It smells like a very expensive, very perfect day at the beach. This works extremely well in warm weather. It sticks surprisingly well to your clothing. And because it holds such a special place in my heart as my first Creed fragrance and my first fragrance really in general, I had to put it in the list. So this is going to be number 10, Virgin Island Water. All right, moving on to number 9. This is the newest fragrance in Creed's lineup. If you don't know it, it is Oud Zarián. This is supposed to have been Creed's take on a traditional oud fragrance. So what you've got here is not a dirty oud, not a fecal smelling oud, not an animalistic oud. This is a very soft, smooth, subtle oud. Creed is branding it as an 80-year-old oud from Sylhet in Bangladesh. I was very skeptical when I heard that they were going to come out with a new oud fragrance because the other oud fragrance in their lineup was one of my favorites. But I have to say, when I first smelled this fragrance, I fell in love immediately. This is a beast mode power fragrance. What you're smelling here is you've got ginger, licorice, a bunch of spices, rose, you've got oud, but those aren't the central players here. What you really smell is what it smells to me like a Middle Eastern spice market wrapped up and refined so it makes it beautifully wearable. Like I said, this is a beast mode fragrance. This is going to get compliments wherever you go. People are going to notice you. And it basically feels like Creed's take on an Amouage fragrance, but it smells different enough than anything Amouage has, so it's definitely worth having in your collection. I have to say, this probably would hold a higher spot in this list. However, it is so new and I haven't had as much experience wearing it, so that's why it holds the number 9 position. But if you're a fan of this, let me know. This is Oud Zarián by Creed, number 9 on the top 10 Creed list. All right, moving right along, number 8 is the other oud addition to the Creed lineup. It is Royal Oud. This is an older one of the Creed fragrances, and it is not oud heavy at all. Although it says Royal Oud, the notes are as follows. At the top, you've got pink pepper, you've got bergamot, lime. In the heart, you've got cedarwood, you've got some cardamom and clove. At the base, you've got musk and ambroxan, think frankincense, guaiac wood, and you also have oud listed as a note, but it is not strong. What this smells like, this is a very structured fragrance. It smells very, very cedarwood off the bat. It smells very piney. It smells sort of resinous, and it smells spicy. You've got that, as I said, that pink pepper note. The oud acts almost like more of a structured note rather than a funky note here. If you're not a fan of oud fragrances, do not be afraid to put your nose on this. This is not a strong oud fragrance. At the front end, that burst of citrus just opens it up beautifully with the spices. This is a very sophisticated scent. This is a very gentlemanly scent, and it's very, very, very classic. I absolutely love it. As you can see, I've used half the bottle, but this one will go a long way. This will definitely last, and people are going to smell you coming. As fond as I am of traditional Middle Eastern oud fragrances, think of something that like Pierre Montal would put out. This is a completely different take on oud, and I've always appreciated what Creed did. That's why this gets spot number 8 in my lineup of my favorite Creed fragrances. All right, moving on to spot 7 in the lineup. This is another older fragrance that has been rebottled. I don't think it's been reformulated to make it stronger, but I have the older bottle and I've almost used the entire thing. Number 8 in the lineup is going to be Original Vetiver by Creed. When I tell you that this fragrance smells like a warm hug, that is exactly the best way to describe it. Think of it almost as if you're waking up in a cottage in the French countryside. You've got the soap in the bathroom, you've got the dew on the grass outside. It's cool, it's breezy. That's what you're sort of smelling in this scent. So the notes here, again, we open up with that burst of citrus. You've got bergamot, you've got some mandarin, you've also got ginger. In the heart, you've got Haitian vetiver, you've got sandalwood and iris, and at the base, you've got some musk and you've got some ambergris. Creed goes on to talk about this fragrance, saying that they're the only house that makes a vetiver fragrance which uses all 3 parts of the vetiver plant. I don't know what those 3 parts are, but it claims it gives it a unique twist because it uses all 3 parts. What you're getting here, think of almost a freshly cleaned cotton shirt. You've got that vetiver soapiness to it and almost a ginger sparkle to finish it out. This is a fantastic daytime wear. This is something that is not going to be offensive to anybody. This can be worn at the office. This can be worn on a date. This can be worn to a brunch. This is going to be one of those fragrances that people are going to say you smell clean, you smell good. It is refined to the max. I absolutely love Original Vetiver, and that is why it is number 7 on the list. All right, we're moving on to number 6 on the list, and this one may throw you a little bit. This is the only feminine branded fragrance on the entire list. I feel like scent is universal and anybody can wear anything. If they think it smells good, they should put it on their skin. I have almost every one of the female branded fragrances in my collection, and I wear nearly all of them, but there is none that come as close as the 6th fragrance in our lineup. This is Fleurissimo by Creed. If you don't know anything about this fragrance, this was a bespoke fragrance that was gifted to Princess Grace of Monaco by her husband, Prince Rainier. It was her official wedding scent because it is said to have the scent of every flower in her wedding bouquet. I know, cute, right? But I love a fragrance with a good story. What you're getting here is a burst of amazing floral energy. At the top, you've got some citrus, you've got mandarin, you've got violet you can smell. There's bergamot. In the heart, there's tuberose, there's jasmine, there's rose, there's ylang ylang. And in the base, you've got orris, sandalwood, and cedarwood sort of rounding it out. If this is what Princess Grace's wedding bouquet smelled like, you had lush white florals, you had the elegance of orris in there, and then you also had a very satiny, smooth, woody finish to it. This is a radiant fragrance, but it is very refined. This is not going to be a beast mode fragrance, but it smells so classy, it smells so elegant, and it just smells luxurious. This is an expensive smelling fragrance, and it doesn't smell for me like any of the other floral fragrances out there. If you know Fleurissimo and you know something that smells like it, please leave me a comment because I'd love to go out and get my nose on it. But yeah, this is such a great fragrance. It's beautiful enough for a woman to wear. It's robust enough for a man to wear it. If you don't know Fleurissimo, definitely go out and try it. It is in a new bottle as well. I'll put a picture of it right here, but definitely go try Fleurissimo the next time you're wherever they have Creed. All right, we're moving into the top 5 fragrances on this list. In position number 5 is going to be a Harrods exclusive. This fragrance was originally released as a Harrods exclusive to Creed in London. It is called Millésime 1849. Even the bottle has the same color scheme as Harrods. It's got the gold and the green on it. This is actually the 2nd version of this fragrance. It had come out several years beforehand. I do have the original bottle as well, but I did get the reissue because I was almost done with the original fragrance. And the fragrance still stayed pretty true to what the original version was. What you're getting here is that signature Creed citrus opening with bergamot, lemon, grapefruit, cypress. In the heart, you've got jasmine, orris, some roses. You've got cedarwood at the base, some sandalwood, some incense, giving it a little bit more texture. You've got Oud, Thyme, and Laurel. This is a very luminous citrus opening with a floral woody core. At the base, as I said, you've got that sandalwood, which is very creamy. You've got incense and oud, which really give this fragrance a nice warmth to it. I think the floral notes here will really throw some people because they're really not going to know what they're smelling here. This is a very classy smelling fragrance. This gives Creed vibes like you cannot believe. This is elegant, this is a gentleman's fragrance, but it's not too masculine that a woman couldn't wear this. As my mom would say, this is one of those fragrances that has a scent all its own. It doesn't smell like anything else in the cabinet behind me, and it is so great. It's so luxurious. It's perfectly blended, and it doesn't smell like anything else, which is why I put Millésime 1849, both versions, not just the reissue, on my list as position 5 on my top 10 Creed fragrances. All right, we're getting closer to the end. In position 4 on this list is another fragrance that had originally been released several years ago and then was discontinued, and they've recently brought it back. If you don't know which one I'm talking about, I'll show you right here. This at number 4 is Royal Mayfair. This is the re-release bottle. So I did get the re-release of Royal Mayfair. I did smell the original release several years ago before I had too many fragrances, and I remember being at Bloomingdale's and spraying it on myself. It was the middle of the winter. I remember it being on my scarf. There was one particular note in this that I remember smelling the rest of the day, and that was the tuberose in the middle. I remember smelling a very floral note on my scarf, and I don't think I was particularly ready to wear a floral fragrance at that time in my life. But as you get older, you age, and your tastes change. And when this got re-released, I was more than ready for it. If you don't know anything about Royal Mayfair, it was originally released in the 1800s under the name Windsor. It was made for the Duke of Windsor. Due to some political complications, they changed the name to Royal Mayfair. Mayfair is actually a section in London where the Creed flagship store is on Mount Street. That's where I got my bottle. It was exclusive there for a short period of time. When this came out, I was totally ready for it. So, as I said, you definitely have a strong tuberose fragrance here, but there's one thing here that sets this apart from any of the other Creed fragrances. There is a hint at the opening, particularly of eucalyptus. At the beginning, you've got that eucalyptus, you've got orange, you've got bergamot. In the heart are the floral notes. You've got tuberose, jasmine, and rose, and this is balanced beautifully in the base notes with cedarwood, musk, and vetiver. This fragrance smells expensive, it smells comforting, it smells cozy. There's something about that eucalyptus note for me which makes it smell like a trip to the spa. Let's say you're going for a massage, you get into the spa, they give you a selection of different oils to choose for the massage. You definitely have something that smells like eucalyptus. That's what you're getting here. The floral notes to this make it a very pretty fragrance, but at the same time, it's also masculine. That said, even though it's in the masculine bottle, this is very unisex. Women can wear this as well. This is a complete standout in the collection. My only complaint about this is, Creed, we don't have a blue bottle. Why wouldn't you do the whole thing in blue rather than just wrapping it up in blue? That's my personal war against Creed. We need something with a blue bottle, Creed. This one really takes you on a journey. There's a green, airy freshness to the opening of this. Then it goes down to sort of a refined floral core, and it dries down into a woody end, and it's blended perfectly. But I absolutely love Royal Mayfair. If you haven't tried it, definitely go check it out. That's why it's in number 4 on my list of my top 10 Creed fragrances. So check out Royal Mayfair. All right, so the top 3 were really difficult to come up with. I love all of them so much, and at a particular time, they were all number 1 in my collection. But I did some careful thinking, and I ended up putting in the number 3 position Himalaya by Creed. I still love it. I still think this is a great fragrance. What you're getting here, think metallic citrus and cool mountain air, all blowing over smooth woods. There's something about this fragrance that makes it smell very masculine. This is one of those fragrances that people are going to wear and they're going to say, I want to smell this on a man. This is a masculine leaning fragrance, and it's said to have been inspired by the Creed family's journey to Everest Base Camp. So they put the notes that they would have smelled on that trip into Himalaya. The notes include, you've got bergamot, lemon, mandarin at the front. You've got in the middle gunpowder, juniper berry, and nutmeg, and in the base there's some woods. There's sandalwood, there's cedarwood, and there's also vetiver. Now, the important note here, and you're never going to unsmell it once you know that it's there. This was, for the longest time, the only one of the Creed fragrances that had any sort of a synthetic note inside the fragrance. That note is the gunpowder note here, because they couldn't put actual gunpowder in it. The reason the Creed family wanted to include gunpowder in this is because when they did the trip to Everest Base Camp, they would smell the dynamite being set off to induce small avalanches so that they could clear the snow out of the way and prevent a large avalanche from occurring. That is definitely one of the notes you get in this. This is a very cool, clean fragrance. It's perfect for winter. It works equally as well in the summer, and I absolutely love it. I've had this fragrance for over 5 years and I was head over heels for it. That's why in number 3 position, sometimes number 1, is Himalaya by Creed. All right, coming into a very close second is one of the newer fragrances. This is from what Creed called the Amber Universe. There were 2 fragrances released, Centaurus, and this fragrance right here in the number 2 position, this is Delphinus. For me, Delphinus just smells like a warm hug. Whereas Centaurus was a very spicy forward amber fragrance, this is a more floral fragrance. This is a smoother, sweeter take on amber. Creed lists the official notes here for Delphinus. You've got black pepper, you've got incense in the top, you've got almond, you've got pink pepper. In the heart, you have heliotrope, orchid, and orris butter. And in the base, you've got patchouli, tonka bean, amberwood, leather accord, and bourbon vanilla. At the top, you've got that spicy, smoky glow. In the middle, think powdery, think floral, think orris, think heliotrope. And in the base, you've got this dark vanilla leather warmth to it that just makes the fragrance glow. Like I said, it feels like a warm hug. This is a fragrance you could wear really any time of day. You can wear it for breakfast. You can wear it for lunch. You can wear it at dinner. You can wear it on dates. You can wear it to the office. There's nothing about this fragrance that's going to be offensive for anybody else to smell. That said, if you're looking for a really strong fragrance that's going to be very powerful, this is not it. This sits much closer to the skin. Despite the fact that this is in the new Creed lineup where they've gone a little bit stronger, this is one of the softer ones, but don't be misled. It's not like nobody's going to smell this on you. They definitely are. It's just the weaker of the 2 amber fragrances, but it still smells amazing. Please take my word for it. If you don't know Delphinus, definitely get to the store and try it. You can see I've already used quite a bit of my bottle, and I will definitely replace it when I'm out of it. That's Delphinus by Creed in position number 2. All right, so we've made it to position 1, and I know what you're saying. Is it Millésime Imperial? Is it Green Irish Tweed? Is it Silver Mountain Water? Or is it Aventus? None of them. I know that everybody loves these fragrances and they are fantastic, but they didn't hold a spot in my top 10 list. The one that I placed in position 1, because I absolutely adore this fragrance, is Absolu Aventus by Creed. Absolu Aventus is the 3rd flanker for Aventus. Everyone knows Aventus. It was then branched out into an Aventus for her. After that, we got Aventus Cologne. This is the 4th iteration of Aventus. This is Absolu Aventus. It was released last year, 2024. And my God, it is the best of the 4 Aventuses. You have that same Creed Aventus DNA here. At the top, you've got so much citrus. You've got bergamot, you've got lemon, blackcurrant, grapefruit, and ginger. In the heart, you've got that traditional Aventus pineapple note. You've got patchouli here, pink pepper, cardamom, cinnamon, and in the base, you've got vetiver, you've got some cashmere wood, oak moss, musk. Everything put together makes this a perfect fragrance for me. Of all of the fragrances in the cabinets behind me, this is going to be a hot take. This may be my favorite. So what you're smelling here is that same Aventus DNA, except you've got a little bit more sparkle given by grapefruit and ginger, which were not included in the original ingredients for the first Aventus. In addition, you've got a more textured woody base to this, so the wood is a little bit more robust than it was in the original Aventus. And I always say about this fragrance, there's something that it reminds me of. You may have seen this in one of my other videos. I did include it in the compliment magnets. This fragrance, I've always said, reminds me of Christmas. Think of a walk through a Christmas market. You've got cloves, you've got nutmeg, you've got pineapple, you've got pine, you've got those woody notes. It smells like a relaxing stroll through a Christmas market. But that said, this is not just a winter fragrance. This is not something that I would do just at winter time. I just feel like this would complement the scents that you get in winter very well. That said, the citrus opening, you could wear it any time of the year. You could wear this in the summer, you could wear it in the fall, you could wear this for the day, you could wear it at night. I don't think it's particularly suited for any season or any time of day. I think this is a year-round fragrance and I think everybody will find it pleasant. I've gotten several compliments on this no matter where I am, whenever I wear it, and I love it so much, and that's why it's number 1 on my list of top 10 Creed fragrances. Absolu Aventus. All right, how'd I do? This is your opportunity to yell at me. Leave me a comment. Tell me what you think I've missed out on. There was one more that almost made the list. That is Tabaron Millésime. I didn't include it, but I really love that one as well. If you think that should have taken the place, let me know. If you think that there's anything that I missed, definitely leave me a comment. Tell me which ones are your favorites. I'd really like to know. I have almost all of them. I think there are only 2 in the collection that I'm missing. So thanks again for watching. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, please. Please leave me a comment. I would love to get in the conversation about Creed with everyone. And yeah, as I said, I absolutely love what Creed does. I love their fragrances. I should complete the collection with those last 2, and maybe I will eventually. Or come on, Irwin, throw me a bone here. Give me a fragrance. Thanks for watching. This has been my 2 cents on my top 10 Creed fragrances. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you next video. Thanks again, everyone.